Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
That's a good day. There's so much going on in there. And I could talk all night tonight about all the craziness. But before we do, let's get some hellos in. Gizmo was the first one in the house. Good evening to you, followed by Mossy Oak Parrot. I almost said Patriot. Could probably intermix them, though, right? The greatest name on the internet.
Half Bubble Off Plum.
And our buddy Zach is in the house from Unique Prepping. Go check that channel out. See, Banquet of Consequences is in the house. Who else we got in here? Farm Ranch Homestead, good evening to you. Let me see here. You guys have been chatty Cathy's tonight. That's good. I like that. The Terminator says, good evening, Tag and B. And everyone from sunny, warm Ontario, Canada.
Sunny and warm today.
Yeah, no doubt, huh? Let's get down here just a little bit. The famous Eagle Lover, Texas is in the house. Hello, hello. Midwest Ribeye, good evening to you. That is such a good name. I like that name a lot, too. There's a lot of good names in here. Let's keep it scrolling down here. Aljo's in the house. Good evening to you. Oh, my goodness. Tim Riley, how are you? Tim says, if y'all haven't yet, get with Homestead Medical and have him come teach a class with your group and find a class that he's teaching and join him. Yeah, we've had some conversations with getting him down here. I think we're waiting until right around the Midwest Preparedness Project, the first week of May. We'll see if we can pull it off then.
Oh, right before? So do that class and then do?
Yep. Our friends Nidos is in the house. Good evening, Nidos. Todd Not Todd is here. Oh, look at that. Todd says he made one before it started finally. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, my goodness. We have royalty in the house.
Oh.
Yep. We have the Queen, Louise by her. And I'm assuming Jeff will get in at some point, or he might just be sitting there listening with Louise. But Janine is in the house. Good evening to you. Skanes girl. Hello, hello. I'm hoping that everything is mellowing out for you. I'm sure the prayer warriors will continue to send prayers your way. Oh, my goodness. The famous Silver Lining is in the house. Good evening to you. And City Greens.
Hello,
look at this.
Freedom
We got all these famous people. And Bonnie, she's in the house too. Easy's there. Indiana Mike, ahoy.
Ahoy.
Good evening to you, my friend. One more rock. Hello, hello. Redneck. Redneck says, hello. We are on our way with honey. Yep. So we'll talk about that just a little bit. Here in just a little bit as we get everything. Hello. Karen W. says, I'm here. Last computer died. Got a new one on Monday. Well, good job. I'm glad we get to help break it in. Chris White, good evening to you. I hope you're driving safe. Safe?
Safe.
Yeah, safe. What is safe? Teresa, hello. Good evening to you. And, of course, the famous sharpshooter says it's a beautiful day here. It is, and it's a beautiful Friday. Let's see who. Grateful Hearts Ranch, good evening. MJ from Wisconsin, good evening to you. Conserve Friends. Yep. Tagging Bees. Is this a, what's that say, Pumpkin? Etymology channel?
Tagging bees, tagging bee, tagging bee, tagging bees.
Yep. And the world famous Life with Mike and Jen are in the house.
Hello, friends.
Yep. So is Dorothy Holloway. And Lisa's here. Not That Kind of Karen is here. Gregory's here. Oh, my goodness. I'm at the bottom, I think. Oh, maybe not. There we go. Let me see here. Aljo says, hi, this is Aljo and Barbara from Los Angeles. And 4.6 earthquake today.
Oh, no.
First it rains, floods, now earthquakes.
Quite a few earthquakes going around.
Yep. Karen says, everyone watch Unique Prepping. He needs more view hours to monetize. Yeah, well, since we're on that topic, so Zach and I and Grumpy Acres are going to do a live tomorrow night. And we're going to talk about the transition from prepping to freesteading.
Good.
And what that looks like. So hope you all see us there.
I didn't know that. Is everybody going to broadcast on their channels?
I am, and I know Zach is. I can't speak for
Okay,
Ruby.
so if you are here, go tomorrow night for that live.
Yep.
If you're here, switch over to Zach's channel so that he can get those hours.
Yep.
On his, you have to rack up a certain amount of watch hours.
4,000.
In order for everybody's 4,000.
It's 4,000. You have to have 4,000 watch hours in a year in order to get monetized.
So at the year mark, it starts over?
I think you have to maintain 4,000 hours.
Oh,
the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah. The King Gypsy himself is in the house. Good evening to you, as is Jane. Teresa says, love B's shirt. And this comes from American Roots.
Yeah, this is an American Roots shirt.
It's a saying that goes on here all the time, which is that every time we level up in our freedom quest, we get presented with a whole lot of different and unique devils. And this is what that shirt is referring to. Hey, Leather Homesteads in the house. Good evening. Haven't seen you in a little bit. I'm super glad you're here. Starla's in the house. Okay, Eagle Lover wants to know what time. I believe it's at 8 o'clock my time that we'll be going live. All right, cool. So anyway, we got through it. I think we're at the bottom. That's good, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. What do you got first on your list?
Well, we still have company.
Yep. Girl with dog is still hanging out.
Yes, we are on day 11.
Day 11 with girl with dog.
Yeah. She's been hanging out and trying to get plans done. I've been feeding her a bunch of Hitch's meat. So far, so good.
Yep.
She was actually gifted a little bit of Jersey burger. And so she shared it with us. So we were able to cook some Jersey burger and some Angus burger. Mm-hmm. And I used my split pan and we were able to side by side comparison them. And then she has a few dietary things that we don't have. So I'm learning new things,
cool,
new tricks. I tried to make that dessert and it failed miserably. It was awful.
Tamara Smith is in the house. Good evening, by the way, just so I see it. Yeah, it's a good challenge though, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I learn something new all the time.
Yeah, it's been interesting. So for the last week or so, or a little more than that, I go to bed at night and I can hear these two laughing and giggling downstairs till whatever time I just go to sleep. But at some point I quit hearing them, but
good.
Nice to see you home here tonight.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I'm enjoying my time with her.
Yeah.
Yes,
hey,
I
JB,
went
good
this.
evening to you.
This is how I combed it with my fingers.
I thought it was 4,000 you needed. He said he's at 1121 now and need 3,000. YouTube lowered it in October for super chats and membership. I didn't know that. All right, super cool. I did not know that. Yeah, Mossy Oak says cooking for people with food limitations is always a challenge, spoken as someone who has lots of them. Yeah, but it's good for us, right? It's good to learn how to deal with all of that stuff. Sometimes we take a lot of that stuff for granted, right?
Yes.
That you can just throw it in and go.
Yes.
Right.
And one of the things I tried to substitute, not because of her, but I tried to substitute sugar for honey, and the ratio was different. And so, what was supposed to be like a banana apple, like apples on the banana, apples on the banana, apples on the bottom, apple bottom. And then cinnamon, and then the battery stuff on top, which was like a banana bread type of material. And it didn't. I started it. The oven was only at, I think, 200, and it should have been at 350. And I know better, but I don't know. I tried it, and it did not work. It didn't rise. It was more like a pate on top. It went right to the chickens loved it. They had no complaints, but we did not eat it.
LJC is here. Good evening to you, my friend, as is Hilltop Home Place. Just making sure I catch all of them as they go by.
Catch up.
Yep. Hank Straw 54 is in the house too, and as is Gregory Kissel. Good evening to you. Yep. So anyway, your dessert was a bomb.
Yes. Well, like tonight we had like a white sauce that was made out of olive oil instead of milk. Did you eat it?
Yes.
Was it good?
Yes.
Yes. It was good for you too. So I'm glad that you liked it. That's something that I can incorporate into your meals on a regular basis.
Yeah, don't go overboard. Songs of Joy, good evening to you. And Jen wants to know, does anyone have Apple Bottom Jeans song playing in their head?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, MJ from Wisconsin said, yes, I did watch Carlson last night. Putin doesn't make us sound good. Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit tonight, because I think that there is a whole sequence of events that goes together that makes that happen. And I don't think it's as simple as just Tucker Carlson wanting to go interview Putin, but we'll get to that.
Did
Right.
you watch the video?
Of course I did.
I did not.
I know.
It was last night. The video was last night.
Well, he did a couple days ago, but it's been coming out. The conversations with him.
pieces?
But I think, well, on different channels and stuff. But I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Yep. And oh yeah. Let me see here. Farm Ranch Homestead says, I wonder when our leaders will be held accountable for their actions. Well, might be sooner than you think.
You think?
Might be. Absolutely might be. Absolutely might be. I'll tie it all together here in just a little bit. But
Okay.
so anyway,
Yeah.
we've had guests. It's been great.
Yes.
A lot of fiddle farting around. And I torture her and call her a liberal all the time. And she laughs at me.
She's wearing a free man shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. She's wearing a free man shirt. So I think there's hope, right? If we can take, tree hugging liberals and, turn them into free people, then that's a pretty good gig, right?
We're going to need to stand together.
I only said this, guys, because I know she's watching. So it's fun. It's fun. Hey, Amber Martin's in the house. How are you, my friend?
Shabbat shalom.
Yep. I'm just trying to keep up as the
Yes.
scroll is going on.
Yes.
All right. So,
Okay, so we have her in town, and then we also have, Redneck is on his way.
Yep.
And they're going to be in town for like 14 hours, so that'll be nice.
yeah. So
For those of them that can make it
Yep,
within that.
yes, there's another family coming in. They'll get here tonight, right? At
Yes.
some point. And some of the community members are going to go have breakfast in the morning. I won't be there, but because I have something else I have to go do. But anyway, super exciting that they're coming into town, and I hope they get it all worked out. Hey, Ghetto's in the house. Ghetto says we need to hold ourselves accountable before anything. We create the beast by allowing them the control. 100% agree. Yep, 100%. Okay, so what else you got going on? You mean to pick one? Let's not do all yours so that
Okay.
you have more that last longer.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so check us out, guys. So we have been spending a bunch of time thinking about the community building. And I'm ready to put it up. I have everything to pretty much go on the outside of it. I don't have everything to finish the inside, but I have everything I think to go on the outside. And so, but what I've got to do is we need to break ground. I need to get some concrete poured and some of those kind of things. So we've been playing with the idea of how big to make it and how many people to make it sit, right? I mean, I don't have unlimited resources, so we've got to be careful about that. But anyway, I thought I'd show you guys with kind of the blueprint that me and B have been talking about. Is just a simple 30 by 60 building. Those two long rectangles down the center would be just tables. Those tables are 38 feet long. And so you would have two 4-foot wide tables, 38 feet long, which would house quite a bit of people. And then I'd put a 2-foot countertop kind of all the way around it so that we could have bar stools to sit additional people. I want
Counter space.
to put 2 bathrooms in it both with showers. And I want those bathrooms to be accessible from the outside and from the inside. Because as people come over and as we do things, it would be nice down there to be able to just walk in and use the restroom without having to go into the community building or not necessarily have access. I don't have to just leave it open kind of all the time. That empty box that's in the top right-hand corner is the utility room. Because we're off grid, I have to bring in all the solar. I have to bring in the water pumps. I have to bring in everything that makes the systems all work. So I left myself a 10-foot by 10-foot room that would allow me to house all of those things. So what do you think about this?
What is
kind of
this?
process?
I see the stove. What is that? Is that a fridge?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Square?
What was the show we were watching? Jericho. It's so funny that came up because I'm going to talk about Jericho later. But remember when she's in the kitchen and she's talking about how refrigerator, cook, sink, right?
The prep kitchen or whatever.
What you call
the
it?
triangle.
Yeah, the triangle kitchen. So anyway, I just drew them in. It don't matter where they go. They can go anywhere you want them to go. I just drew them in. But yes, refrigerator, stove, and sink.
Well, and two, if you're going to serve food in there, you're going to need a countertop tip for all of the different foods.
Buffet line, right?
Yeah,
Which could be just one of those big lines, right?
Yeah.
So again, we want to do something simple. I want a big open area so that we can get a lot of people in. The goal for this building would be so we can sit down and have meals, but there's more to it than that too. It's also about where we can get together and worship, if that's something, or schools, right? Or whatever it is, just a building where we can have meetings, and discuss the things that are going on inside the community. So I have all the material to put this building up, except the inside. So I have enough to get it dried in. Let me see here. Oops. Mr. Mo says mirror the south bathroom to get the plumbing off the exterior wall. Oh yeah, so flip it around. But if I flip it around, then what's going to happen is then I'm going to have the sink on the exterior wall. And that's actually a great point, Mo, because that would be a north facing wall. But I could maybe put the toilet and the sink side by side. Maybe. But that's a great point, Mo. Super good point. So my question I have for all of you guys is, if you had a community building where, 75 people were going to get together and hang out, what would you want in that building? And how do we make it as versatile as we can make it? So I don't really want to hone it in where there's just one use, right? I want to be able to have, lots of additional uses. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on, what are some of the things that you guys would
maybe you should put the bathroom and the utility room, flip those two over around so that the utility room is on the north side.
Yeah, the problem is, babe, the utility room's where all the water comes in. Right, it's where your pressure tanks are.
But it's going to come in from the ground, isn't it?
It is.
It's not going to come in from the side.
Right.
So, and then if that's the batteries and stuff in the utility room, then that would be okay for them to be in the cold.
Yeah. Leather says, run the plumbing in the slab. We absolutely intend to do that. Mossy Oak says, a projector for media display. Yep. I love that idea. Also some whiteboards to put on the wall.
That's a good
idea.
Right,
because I'm sure we'll have, lots of classes.
You could do that above the buffet line.
Yeah, we just went through exactly that with plumbing on the south wall. It's important to insulate the heck out of it. Yes, it is. Karen says, community center. I'm sure you're considering things I'm not, but I'll just point out that maximum square footage with minimum perimeter cost comes from a square building rather than a rectangular building. Yes, except here's the thing is that as you get into a square building, the square feet that I would need, the trusses would be huge. And since I'll build them myself, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe it's something we should consider. Lisa says wood stove. Yeah, absolutely has to have some kind of wood stove in there. Yeah. I haven't drawn it in there, but yeah, 100% agree.
Yep. It has to go somewhere.
Gypsy says, how are you planning on heating? Wood stove, probably. Probably a mini split for cooling if I can. Yeah, Farmer says, I was thinking about a fireplace. Here's the thing, though, is the fiber, I don't know, maybe it's just me and my experiences. Fireplaces don't heat as well as wood stoves do.
I prefer the box in the room instead of it in the wall because the heat comes off of the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if we could get if we can get another wood cook stove in there, then we would have an oven, a way to keep things
but here's the problem. Your oven has your wood cook stove has limitations. You're never going to cook for 75 people. It's just not practical. You think you can cook for 75 people on your wood stove?
No, but I think that you could probably keep things hot or coffee going or while things are going on,
Yeah. Hickshaw 54 says a big screen TV. That is a must. Gizmo says, will those tables be on pulleys to be able to dance? When he's talking about it, we could put them on pulleys and then pull them up to the roof.
And then use the open space.
Yeah, and use the open space. Instigator says, what, if anything, might be needed to have, say, butchering small animal classes? So we have, Instigator, we have a processing kitchen that we could do those in. I'm never going to fit 75 people in them.
Right. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to
do it bigger.
Which if you lifted one of the tables up, you'd have enough space probably to.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this, and Leather Homestead says center wood stove. Remember that? Remember the young Mr. Meyer, our youngest son? Mm-hmm. His old lady's house, how it had that center. It had like a round burn pit with a hood right over the top of it. So the fireplace was completely open.
Yes.
It just had a big hood over it. Wouldn't that be cool in the center?
I have pictures of that somewhere.
Yeah. We'd have to probably make it. But
he made that. You would have to, what did he make it out of? It was made out of something.
It's made out of steel, I think, but I could make it. I'm not concerned about that. It's just, that would take up a fair amount of space in the middle. And maybe it's a whole bunch of, small tables around the area. I don't know. But good thing to think about. If you place the wood stove on the bathroom, stove on the wall with the bathroom, wouldn't it help heat for the water lines? Certainly. Yep, I agree. Fireplaces don't heat as well as wood stoves, but have nice ambiance for those community meetings. I totally agree with that. Yeah, Gypsy says drain everything when not in use. Yep. Well, I think the water source, I think I'm gonna use a cistern instead of a big tank so that it's buried. And so I think I'll be able to
so we can still gather in January.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Farm Rent says closet for table and chairs as well as other things. Yeah, that's another thing is that this utility room, maybe hang some stuff on the wall to hang your tables up or some of that stuff.
Maybe we do all chairs the same so that we can stack them all or that we can fold them all.
Yep. Yeah, what she's referring to, I kind of had this theory all along that if everyone would buy their own chair and decorate it, it would give the room an incredible amount of character.
I agree, but then you have to store them all.
But then you have to store them all. Yep. Johnny says, will those 2 long tables be built as sectionals? If not, you're going to have a hell of a time ever getting them out of the building. Oh, yeah, I'd have to find a way for them to come apart, Johnny, because you would want to be able to take them out. And maybe this is, again, I just drew in the space for the number of people. Maybe this is a whole bunch of tables, stacked right up against each other so that you can fold them and get them out.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yep. B, if you have a flat top wood stove, you could still have a warmer for coffee and keeping things warm. 100% agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aljo says fans to control heat and air. Yeah, I think you need about 4 of them down the center of that thing, right? Hey, Country Foreshore, good evening to you.
Like ceiling fans?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
I've heard those center fireplaces have some issues, but for versatility, keep as much space as possible open. The moment something is in the middle, it's static. I totally agree with that. But
He's right.
It would be super cool to have a center one like that. And it would heat so well.
He's right, though.
Yep, he is. Good evening, Tagaby. Randy, good evening to you.
And 2, if you have the fireplace in the center, then if you're hot, you can't get away from it. If you have it all the way on the other side, then you could probably move to the one side and kind of get away from it, maybe.
Hicks Ross says, will you be having events in the wintertime? Well, in most of the winter. But, there's going to be, guys, this 2 weeks here where we live, where it's going to be, minus 10. We ain't doing anything on those days, right? But when it's 30 and 40 out, absolutely.
You just never know, though. If we plan like a Festivus and it ends up being negative 10, then are you going to cancel it because it's negative 10?
I don't know. Depends on how well it heats, right? What about I went to a schoolhouse that was warmed by a wood stove. Also, our home was warmed by a big round wood stove. We were always warm. Oh, man, I skipped somebody. Okay. Yeah. You see here, JB says, have the counters high enough to put the folding tables against the wall. Also a good idea.
Put them underneath it.
Yep. Would radiant floor heaters run off solar? Well, they would, but the other thing that you could do is you could do the radiant floor heaters off a big boiler outside. Like Dad had at his farm.
That kept all that dirt outside.
But you could run it underneath the floor to heat it out of that.
And he stuck the biggest logs in there. Now I have to, if they're too long, I can't use them. I have to take them and put them back outside. So I'm hauling logs back outside that won't fit in the fireplace.
Hey, Jules, good evening. I'm glad you're awake. In our local community center, they have a stage with a cupboard. Yeah, we're going to have an exterior stage, but
inside for people to talk or
cabinets, cupboards for dishes and serving platters. Yeah, I want to put a bunch of cabinets in, as you can see, is illustrated all the way around. My idea was just to have tons of space for all the crock pots and all the foodie things and all the
upper cabinets
on some of it, like maybe just the back wall, right?
Okay,
maybe
and then a whiteboard or something somewhere else.
Yeah. Carrie Davis says, perfect for barn dances and weddings. Yeah, we've actually already been asked once to host a wedding out here. I don't have a place to do it yet, but we're fastly closing in on that. My high school had lunch tables that folded up against the wall like a Murphy bed. That would probably mean more tables of shorter length. Just a thought. I like that. I think the better we can make it versatile, I think the better off we are, right? Yeah. Whatever that means.
I do like the idea of taking the tables down in case for some reason you want to have a dance or a wedding or something.
Or maybe you want to have a Sunday school with the kids and they're playing and they're doing,
Or a medical class or a self-defense class where you need to move.
Right. So the tables need to move. I think I agree with that. Right.
And kind of be able to be folded and put away. Yeah. So we can't really make the tables and have them unless they're
Let me see. Miley Mason, good evening to you. What's Mo got to say? Says, you talked to building assessor about what this will do to your tax structure. This would truly be a commercial building, right? Nope. It would just be a storage building on my farm.
Barn.
Be a barn. Yep. And no, I have not spoken to them about it.
There's no windows.
Yeah, well, there have to be windows, babe. Or I'm only relying on power. My question, why not use folding tables and chairs? That way you can use them outside or inside. Yep, not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Just make everyone bring their own tables and chairs. Well, that was kind of the idea with the chairs, is if I could I was originally going to make it all bar top height and have everybody go get a chair and then decorate it in their own personality. And I just thought that would be super neat in there because it would be, but it's not practical.
It's not practical.
Tamber says you need a battery powered chainsaw. She has 2 of them. 2. Let me see here. Half Bubble Off Plum says, fold down for buffet, set up along the walls. Yeah, I like that idea more and more. I had not considered that. In our local community centers, they have a stage, and under the stage, they have storage for the tables. They put the tables on a trolley platforms, which are on wheels, easy for rolling under the stage. The problem is I want to kind of control how big this thing has to be because it just gets expensive, you know. Gizmo says, which end is north? So Gizmo, I'm looking at the picture. The bottom of the picture would be north. Hawkshaw 54 says outside wood stove using RV antifreeze with in floor heat would be the best way to go. Yeah, I've got a buddy that lives in Arkansas who's Mario, who's got some knowledge in this kind of stuff, and I may talk to him just a little bit about what to do. Hippocrates says it could also be a jail cell. Yeah. Farm Ranch Homestead says, how about a covered deck or patio outside for summer events? Yeah, so the north side Farm Ranch Homestead, or the side that's on the bottom of the picture, will face the big pond. And we're going to build a big overhang out there to put picnic tables and to do those kinds of things. Starlit Oak says, I will donate a full set of folding tables and chairs. Done. Let me see. Todd Not Todd says, well, crap, I missed the beginning, although I checked in before the live started. Yeah, bench seats. Yeah, bench seats wouldn't be an idea, especially if I could get them folded up somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You can fit probably more people on a bench seat than you can individual seats.
See, I have 2 also, but I will look for a shorter piece of wood before we'll pull one of them out. Check out auctions for businesses that have closed. We got a ton of tables and chairs for free. Yeah. Let me see here. B, what is your favorite chainsaw? What features should I look for when buying one other than lightweight because I have injured shoulders?
I think if you're going to use littler trees, then the rigid rigid battery powered one would be sufficient. I used that for many years before I got the Milwaukee one. Mm-hmm. But the Milwaukee one sounds less plasticky, if that makes sense. Too. And it has more power.
I just buy Milwaukee the first time. Let me see here. Conserve Friend says expand accessories in stages. See, Country for Shore says flip the kitchen on the same wall as the water intake. Okay, so the water intake is going to be over here, but if I flip the kitchen over there, my challenge is I want to be able to access the bathrooms from both the inside and the outside.
And you don't want.
And if I put the kitchen on this wall right here, now I've got to deal with the doorways, right?
Yes.
If I put the kitchen on that wall, now I've got to have openings in the cabinets to be able to walk through the doors, which isn't the end of the world, but it cuts down.
Yeah, you could put the kitchen over instead of it being on. You could put the kitchen over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could.
Like this.
You could put it on
that side. But then you'd
side.
have to go through the kitchen to get to the pantry or pantry, utility room. Yeah,
all you smart people, I should probably tell you that if you look at the south side of the building, which would be the top of your screen, it'll actually be in a berm. Yeah. So it will actually be half buried underground because of where I'm putting this. So you'll also have some of the thermal mass from that side, which would be very good at keeping things thawed, right? Let me see here. Charlotte says, I suggest making a fund for this and letting us donate money for the tables and chairs. Well, actually, Starlet, we've been doing this for a long time, and I can't tell you the number of gift cards and stuff we have, that have been donated to a million different things by a lot of you people in this chat here tonight, and, and a lot of other places. But that has been ongoing. Yes, Team Red. Yeah, definitely Team Red. Let me see on the sidewall. On the sidewall. I don't understand country for sure. The sidewall. I don't know which one's the sidewall, but we'll get it figured out. But anyway, I'll get rid of that.
Because they said flip the kitchen on the same wall as the water intake.
Yeah.
On the side. So maybe she's talking about like on the south side. So
yeah, the south side would be ideal because it's burned.
Because it's in
There's
all of that would be under.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't you just? Oh, because you have to be able to access it from outside. You could put a bathroom like one on each side, and then the shower, and then the kitchen in the center, so that you have access to the east and west.
Good. Hey, American Preppers in the house. How are you, my friend? Long time no talk.
Too, if you put those exterior doors on the west side, that's where all the storms come in. That's where all the storms come from. So you have all of that coming to the doors. If you eliminate how many doors,
but
not eliminate, but minimize how many doors you have on the west side, then they'd be kind of protected on the east side.
Tim Riley says, my electric still is lightweight, but only good for about 8 inches or less. Anything more, I want the gas-powered Farm Boss or larger. Yeah, I pretty much use my stills for pretty much everything. But you see, Tamber says, my little chainsaw is in Milwaukee, and I can hold it up over my head and cut stuff.
Oh, it's the little one. Doesn't Milwaukee have two different?
Yeah, they have the little
sizes?
One that's about this big, but B's is a 16-inch chain.
And then they have one that's like handheld that has like a little claw or something, or a little spinner or something on the.
Yep. My friend Hancock says, I picture a bigger, more industrial kitchen. Yeah, I think B would like to have a bigger, more industrial kitchen too, but man, it's only about funding it.
I picture that as well, William.
Say it again.
I said I picture that as well.
Yeah, mine said I had to cut down a tree this week between 75 and 100 years old. Cost $2,000. Ouchie. No thanks. So Johnny says sawzalls make great chainsaws. Yeah, B uses my sawzalls all the time to cut branches off. Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, Patrick Henry's in the house. Says, hey, nice fire defense skills shirt tag. Yeah, see that? I probably should get that off so everyone else can see it. Right there. That's it's a local train. It's an old T-shirt.
This shirt is has been around for a couple of years.
Yeah, but there's a company in Topeka called Fire Defense, and we've used them for all kinds of training. They've come out and done hand-to-hand combat,
medical. They stuck a thing up a guy's nose.
Yeah, medical. We've done all the like pistol classes, AR classes, fighting in and around vehicle classes, just all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
They taught us our very first self-defense class, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a long time ago, in and around vehicles.
Yeah, what I like about them is I know them well enough that we can pick up the phone and call them. They'll come to my farm. And, go get 10 or 20 people here and we'll have a fun day. How about a hallway between the kitchen and the bathrooms to access the bathrooms and make the hallway accessible from the outside?
Oh.
Yeah, I think Farm Ranch Homestead, that she likes that idea. What we got here? Good thinking, B. Burn wall bathroom on each side and kitchen is an excellent idea. So Country Fork Shore says, yeah, she's talking about the long walls, not the short walls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, putting it on the long wall. The south wall would make a ton of sense because, everything will be isolated over there.
Those lines you can come up and up, come over and up, come over and up, right? Can't you take the water lines through and up? They don't have to go down, right?
No, the water lines I put under the concrete. So the only place
then they have to come up.
They have to come up where the toilets are. They've got to come up where the sinks are. Those kind of things. Yeah.
And the shower.
And the more you put them on the south wall, the less they're away from the north wall, which the less they're going to freeze. Right. That's a fact.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Mr. Clary says, I have sources. You're not helping me. Clary.
I'm
Clary.
I'm all ears.
Clary.
I'm all ears.
Clary. So B's friend Clary has sources. JB says, what about 2 a bathroom and 1 shower? How often will the showers be used?
One shower.
We talked about this, right?
Yes.
Earlier.
Because at first I was like, don't do showers. That's dumb.
Yeah, but I think
and then
we get so many visitors, guys, out here at Life Done Free. We get people in campers. We have people who come out and stay a week here and a week there. We have all kinds of things that go on. I think it would be really cool to have that separate place where there would be a bathroom and there would be a shower, because I don't think the days of people coming to hang out is over anytime soon, right?
No.
So
it is not over. It is only just begun.
Yes. Farm Ranch Homesteads, a separate shower is a good idea. The only thing I don't like about a separate shower is now I got to have a separate room. And by putting a shower in both of them, if you guys can think about having a weekend thing that goes on out here and people are in campers, that second shower would be pretty valuable if there was 20 people here.
Yeah.
Right? It just would be. But anyway, Nito says, yeah, we had 3 large, approximately 6-year-old cottonwoods cut down last year and it cost us $2,000 and we kept the wood. That's a good deal, at least, right? Let me see here. Speaking of trees, I cut down a 10-inch cherry tree down today, cut it up and hauled it with my fancy sleigh and split it and put it in my woodshed. I was getting low. Terminator, you're just a beast.
Are you going to use that to burn in just everyday something? Or are you going to save that for like some, what is that called? Like, smoking, right? You use cherry wood to smoke, to smoke meat.
Yeah, Tamara says, did you see where the government is trying to pass a law so that you won't be able to train in self-defense, shooting and like a militia? Yeah, and I think they were talking about if 3 people gather together for any of these kinds of things, it becomes
bad.
Yeah, and they've proposed some of that stuff. I don't see that that'll ever happen, but maybe. I mean, I do agree that the grip will continue to get tighter.
But I wonder if like half of them identify as cats and it wouldn't be people.
Might be. Might be a good idea to have a shower for people who just pull their trailer in your driveway. We can help. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking
That's
too.
what we were thinking.
Because we get so many people that come out and hang out, and guys, we love it. We get to spend so much cool quality time with such interesting people that I would love to be able to create that environment where there's a shower, there's a bathroom, or a couple bathrooms. That's why I want the bathrooms accessible from the outside.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to lock the community building if I need to, right? Because you never know, and but still have access to that.
I do like the idea of minimizing the doors on the outside, so that hallway, you have to dedicate prime space to hallway, but you could have one door outside that goes to all of the bathrooms and the community building by one door.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Mo says you might want some bigger outside doors to bring in things wider than 36 inches. Also a second door for egress fire. Yeah, so you'd have the front door going into the community building, and then you would have the 2 doors that go through the bathrooms and then outside. So that's actually 3.
Yeah, so that
3
does
doors.
make sense. Thanks, Mo.
Yep. I think having a stove, et cetera, in a separate room, that way the noise from cooking prep meal doesn't interfere with events. I kind of agree with that, but here's the only thing I disagree with is that my bride gets so mad when she's trapped in a kitchen and can't be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've had this conversation in the past, and I'd actually taken walls out between living rooms and kitchens so that B could be part of the conversation. Put a solar heater on the south side. I built a 5x8 that put out 133 degrees of heat at 15 below zero with full sunshine. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, in the building, I'm going to make all with one big roof, and all leaning at the right angle towards the south so that we can use it.
Do you know what he's talking about? Do you need a picture of that?
What?
The solar heater.
No, I know exactly what he's talking about. Johnny says community showers sound like a great way to pick up skin fungus.
Yeah. It's just a little bit though, Johnny. Don't be all.
Yeah. Skins Girl says double doors. Carrie Davis says outdoor showers, seasonal. Yep.
Shower outside.
Yep.
You want to wash your,
Johnny says we the people are the militia. How about make the bathrooms wet rooms? Here has them. I don't understand. They here has them
Easy clean, probably.
Easy clean. Okay.
They probably that they just clean easier. If they're all wet rooms, then you can like hose them down if somebody gets in there and washes their dog.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer. I like to tile ceilings and everything.
Yeah,
right? I do, because for that exact purpose. LJC says you must not have watched enough House Hunter TV shows where everyone needs a big kitchen because they love to cook and everyone hangs out in the kitchen. Mossy Oak Patriot. Yeah. Am I falling behind? Oh my goodness.
No, you're right on top of it.
Am I? Okay. Will only 2 toilets be enough for that large a gathering? Probably not. But if we get a big one, I'll bring in porta potties too. But
well, a lot of people go outside to have a cigarette and do their deed outside.
Let's see here. How about an extra outbuilding with additional restrooms and showers so you don't have to have access to the building, just use the restrooms? Which would be fine, except then when we do because the community building is really primarily going to be used to, hey, let's get together, every other Saturday and we'll do whatever. And so it will be used mostly by, the internal community. And so being able to use the restroom without having to leave the building from a weather perspective would be
especially
nice.
If you're cooking, like if I'm here and I'm trying to get things up and running and I go over there and start something and have to go to the bathroom to run to another building to do that's kind of.
Yeah, let me see here. Plan for a large septic tank. We are. Nito says the government is so afraid of us rising up against them. They are trying to figure out how to stop that from being possible. Yeah, well, they're scrambling and things are kind of collapsing around them, which I'm going to talk about tonight a little bit. But they're in full blown panic right now. Yeah, Clary B's friend Clary asked if we discussed sewage. So we're going to put a big septic system in. And I'm hoping my buddy Mario comes and helps me, because although I am a certified septic installer, I don't know anything about it. So it'd be nice to have that help. Right. All right. What do we got next? Also new topic. Okay. So we're off that. We'll get back to it. I would welcome any help anyone's willing to give, because this is just kind of about learning. And all we're really trying to do is get a place where we can sit down, have a meeting
with a lot of people.
Yeah. Have a service, have a dinner, teach a class, just a designated place for that. And so I want it to be, again, just as adaptable as, I want to be able to use it for as many things as I can, because I won't have the money to build another one right away. So,
and we kind of get one chance at it.
Yeah.
So things that we don't think of, things, if you've been to a community event or a big building that you're like, hey, that's really cool.
Yeah.
We'd love the idea.
Yeah. So tomorrow I told you guys that I'm going on Zach's show. We're going to do a live with Zach. And then I'm going to do a conversation with a guy named David Rodriguez on Thursday next week at 7 p.m. He's a really interesting guy. Has been kidnapped. Was I don't want to totally spoil it all, but today he's a principal of a school, kind of an alternative school where they're learning how to do things different. He's a big advocate for kids' rights.
Wow.
A big advocate for homeschooling, does a lot of work in those kind of things. So we'll be on Thursday night at 7 p.m. on my channel, and we're going to talk about modern education and what are the alternatives, which is something that's also close to my heart. And so
where did you meet him?
So I met David Rodriguez when I went down to Florida to speak at Jim's Gale event, the Food Forest Abundance event down in the Path to Freedom event down in Florida. I met him there. I went on his show once already. This was a while ago, and we had a good conversation. But I think he brings so much to the table from an education perspective. Has donated his entire life to education and taking the education system back. And, when we talk about taking our system back, there's a lot of pieces to it. It's not just as simple as, the education system. There's the finance system, and there's the medical system, and there's all of these. So when I get a chance to have a conversation with people who are in the fight on any of those types of topics, I really like those kinds of conversations. So I hope you guys join me on Thursday this next week at 7 p.m. and help welcome David in, and we'll have a good conversation about education.
Does he have a channel?
Yes, he does.
YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you'll have to make sure you link that.
Oh yeah.
In the
he has 2 of them: Education Options TV and the Freedom Lovers channel. He has 2 of them that are out there.
And you have not met with him before. I mean, you have not had a video with him.
Not on my channel. Not on my channel. Hey, Vicky Pullen, good evening to you. So anyway, again, I hope you guys join us. You got something you want to talk about?
So is
before I
that
go?
two? You have two live? Those are both live.
I have one tomorrow, one Thursday, and then our normal Friday live. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have them going on this
That's
week.
what's going on.
Yeah. What do you got on? What's your next on your list before I?
Well, I got so last
Hey,
time
Leela.
we
Leela.
talked.
Good evening. Remind me of Lilu Dallas.
We last Friday we were here. I talked about I got a new incubator, and since last Friday, now I got a new brooder or double brooder, I guess, because there's two. There's like one and then one on top of it, so they stack.
Some girls want flowers. Some girls want jewelry. My wife wants chicken stuff.
Yes. Not just chickens, because I can use this also for turkeys or any kind of bird that I of my choosing.
So you should talk a little bit about that, though, because this is important, because as we go through the process every year of trying to grow all of our own food, what you learn in homesteading, guys, I know any of you guys in homestead know this, you learn to identify your choke points. You learn to identify, so, okay, bee had big hatching power.
Yes.
And small brooding power and medium growing up power. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And so our biggest choke point was the brooder. She had one big, nice brooder. And so now she's got two more. So now we have big hatching power, big brooding power, and medium growing up power. Living space. And so we're going to build a rooster run that helps her with this. So by the time I get that built, she should end up with big hatching power, big brooding power, and big growing power. And
ideally.
So it's about identifying those choke points, right?
Yes, and we are learning along the way.
Yeah.
Just how many birds you can fit into a plastic tote. Yeah. How many birds I can fit inside the brooder. And he made a great brooder. It was wonderful. It had plywood on 2 layers of plywood with an inch layer of
inch and a half
of
foam. So I sandwiched.
Was it foam?
Yeah.
It's like board.
No, foam board.
Board.
So I took 1.5 inch foam board, put plywood on both sides, and made a box out of it.
And it's
completely
long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as big as a coffin.
8 feet long.
And then there's a glass on top where I can see in. There's a thermometer in there where I can see the temperature. And there's spots where the cords go in and out. So there's no cords that are exposed or hanging out or wonky.
Yeah.
And it closes up real tight. Well, I mean, there's oxygen flow in it, but not breezy.
Yeah, it takes no power to heat it.
Like 9 watts.
Yeah, we use 9 watts of power to run the heater. That's it. But part of being able to make that work is you got to get it closed in enough. Right. You got to get it where I can keep the heat in it. Yeah. And so so that was pretty cool. And that was on wheels, so I could move it around and in and out, clean it and such. Now these new brooders are on wheels, and they're made out of plastic. And there's 3 doors for 1 cage. While she's talking, I'll show you guys a picture
with automatic waterers and a tank that sits on top, so I don't have to.
Just keep talking.
Fill individual. I mean, it comes with individual waterers too that are like a pint, little tiny. And then these feeders are the tiniest little feeders, but chicks are tiny. So, I don't know how many birds fit in each row.
Here you go. I'm going to show it to him right now.
But he put it together super easy. And
okay, I'm going to share this with you guys real quick here.
Is that 3 stacked together? So
that's 3, but you can stack as many as you want.
So you can get just 1 or 2 or 3.
There you go. So that's the brooder she's talking about. So we're going to try it and we're going to see how well it works out, right?
Yes.
So I only bought her 2 of them. And ours don't
layers.
have 3. We just have 2 layers.
But it's the same wheels, same frame, tank on top for the automatic waterers. The feeders on the front there hang off the front. So they have to stick their head out of the cage to get the feed. So you don't have to have feed inside. Actually, they say for the first 2 days to keep those little feeders on the inside, and then after that to take it out. but they can't poo in the food because the food is on the outside of where they're living. They have to stick their head out in order to get to the food, which is super cool. And then there's a tray on the bottom so that their poo is going into a tray so that they're not, again, just like walking back and forth on it. And then the trays are just pull out and dump and then put back in. Easy peasy. And those have heaters in them too. But I learned that I can put my 9-watt heater in there, the heat plate in there, and run only 9 watts of power per level instead of
120 watts.
Is that 120 watts each
Total.
heater?
No,
120 for both.
The total for the heaters, and that's 120 watts.
And that's 2 heaters,
That's 2
one
heaters,
for
yeah.
each layer level.
Right. But instead you can run the 9s, right?
So I would have I'd have 2 9-watt.
Right.
Or I have the bigger ones, which are 15 watt, I think, which is for 20 birds, I think.
Yeah.
Chicks.
So B has been harassing me, everybody, about another purchase, a big purchase that will make the farm easier, right?
Bigger than the brooder. Or the incubator.
So
together.
For those of you guys who have been out to my farm, you see me quite often run around in machinery, right? The skid steer or whatever it is, right? And
that's the only machinery we have is the skid steer. So
that's not true. Well, I got log splitters. I've got big
but you're not
chippers.
driving around in a log splitter.
No, I'm not driving around in a log splitter, but I'm driving around in UTVs. I'm driving around in 4-wheelers and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I think B wants her own kind of machinery. Would you agree with that?
A girl tractor.
Yeah, so she wants me to go get her a girl tractor. And so we thought we would share with you guys tonight what her version of a girl tractor is. Everybody ready? That's what she wants. That's what she wants right there. So that's a 55 horsepower tractor. It's got an enclosed cab, heat and air, all of those kind of things. And B is trying to convince me that this is a must-have for the farm.
0% financing.
Yeah.
That's like free money, people.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pockery wants to know about the 55-gallon drum of honey.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
But I have Redneck bringing me honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going
Tamara
to do it
says,
5 gallons at
hey,
a time.
that will work. Leela says, oh my gosh, it's awesome. Simpler Time says, very nice. MJ says, nice girl tractor.
Girl
Country
tractors.
says, that works. Gizmo says, go B. Kelly says, oh yeah, nice girl tractor. The Best Life, welcome. I didn't say hello to you yet tonight. Says, geez, I want a girl tractor too. Yeah. 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 Jen says, oh, I like it. Warm in the winter and sweet air in the summer. Yeah. Let me see. Man, get you a 75 horsepower Kubota on tracks. It can do everything that a tractor can do in a smaller package. Well, I have a skid steer now. And I've kind of stayed away from the Kubotas a little bit because there's been several reasons. Is that the hoses and stuff that run up underneath it seem to cause them problems, and they don't have the best deal right now. But I've looked at Mahindra, I've looked at Kubota, we've looked at New Holland, we've looked at LS, we've looked at a whole bunch of them. So Hakestraw 54. So depending on how you buy this tractor, so this particular one that she wants is about $46,000 brand new.
With a warranty.
See, guys, she just yeah, it is a must-have tag. Great addition to the farm. But you can operate anything that a man can. You bet she can.
Especially
and she does.
in a tractor.
Yeah. She's been on my skid steer several times. She just doesn't like it. You know, and yeah. So Silver Lining says, what size of tractor? That's a 55 horsepower tractor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Miley says, tag, it's just money. It's just money. Yeah, JB says, just still the skid steer, B.
Yeah, I don't mind driving the skid loader. It's just we'll have a 3-point. It'll do different things.
Yeah. Well, it's just money. Yeah. Mo says taxes buy used at auction. Sorry, B. These are taxed forever. No, not. Because I'm a legal farm, I can buy that tractor tax exempt, which means I will pay no taxes on that tractor. All I got to do is give them a little form. So super easy. Tamber says just money, get it while you can. Actually, B made this argument with everything going on in the world that if I don't pull the trigger pretty quick. And there's some really cool things about that tractor that I like that a lot of them don't. Like, you guys know the 3-point in the back, right? A skid steer won't run a 3-point. So when you're talking about brush hogging, you're talking about some of those kind of things that skid steer won't do. But there's a lever in the back that lets you raise and lower the arms to the 3-point. You don't have to be inside the tractor, which I thought was pretty cool. Mario says, I'm here, Tag. I totally forgot. What did I miss? We were actually talking about a community building and trying to figure out how to heat it properly with maybe a broiler or whatever.
Keep the water lines from
keep the water lines freezing, a septic tank. And we actually spoke about you a lot, Mario. We had a whole bunch of conversations. Personal property tax, not sales tax. Yeah, I don't pay personal property tax on my skid steer. I don't pay personal property tax on any of that stuff here. Just on my house. Tag, my husband, and it just purchased a tractor with a backhoe. I'm going to get my duck pond and fish pond built. Oh, how cool is that?
So did he get the backhoe? Does he like it?
Yeah. Hickshaw says it's like a skid steer. Once you have it, you wonder how you got along without it. Very good investment. I love my skid steer. I'm on it all the time. All the time. Tag, it would be nice if the TPH could have down pressure on demand. Yeah, so I don't think it'll ever dig a hole like my skid steer will dig a hole, right? Because again, down pressure and those kind of things. But
this has a
bucket. I'm not getting rid of my skid steer.
Does this have the same? Will the skid steer be more powerful?
It just depends, babe. They're different tools, and for me, the attraction to doing this for you is that you're not dependent upon me to do so many other things.
You're like, stay off of my stuff.
Well, no, it's that you can go get a bale of hay. A big bale of hay and move it to your animals. You don't need me to go do it. I don't have to be home for me to do it. Right. It's just those kind of things. Also, being able to mow. We mow a lot, guys. When it's a mow day for me and B, her and I on 2 totally separate mowers, we'll spend all day mowing. Yeah. It's a lot. You know?
I would rather not mow.
Yeah.
Just hay it all.
Yeah. Tamara says keep bugging him, B. Yeah. Let me see here. Gregory says, I bought me a girl tractor, a D17, old but faithful. Nothing wrong with that.
We've looked at older ones. We've been looking for a great deal.
Yeah. Let me see here. Johnny says, whatever you do, don't put crappie and fish in your fish pond. I already have crappie fish in my fish pond, so that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Big Kid says, when moving large bales, don't forget counterweight. Yeah, so this one has at the pivot point, a 2,300 pound lifting capacity. Now that's at the pivot point though. So out front, way out there, it's going to be like 1,800 pounds.
But we were going to do smaller bales anyway, right? So that I could move them a little easier myself.
Yeah, Tamara says, if you have a loader, you can do all kinds of things. Yeah, we use a skid steer now, and it's been a great hand. I mean, we built this whole property with a skid steer.
Yeah.
Right. But B seems to think it's
not a tractor.
Time to get a tractor. Hey, Gregory, what's up, bud? So anyway, so this is the one that so far she likes the best. And we'll see kind of how this whole process turns out, and how bad they want to sell it. And then we'll kind of go at it from there. Right.
Yeah.
So, I must have cut off the stats. That was smart, Meyer.
Oh, wheelbase.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Troy Sutton, good evening to you. Silver Lining says, tractor with bucket, backhoe, brush mower, a girl's dream. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to get the backhoe, but maybe the rest of it.
We talked about it, but.
Yeah. So, all right, what you got? What's your next item on your list? And then I'm going to get into all the weird stuff happening in the world.
We got the Rockley. You had been out, and we had several loads. Let's say 3, 4, 5 loads of rock delivered, and you're finally able to smooth it out a little bit.
So we dropped 125 tons of gravel on our driveway after the winter to try to get another layer on it. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, because it was getting a little puddly. But there was some high spots and some lower spots, and you were able to spend some time and get it somewhat flat. the driveway up closer to the road is a little washboardy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he did you do that on purpose to keep me to slow down or what?
Sure.
Or did you? It was an
No,
accident.
I
How
need-
do you accidentally get it to?
No, I need to grade it. I just haven't got it done. I got it all spread, but Hippocrates says is the bucket a skid steer attachment. Yes, that's the cool thing about a Bobcat tractor. They just come standard that way. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, no, this is a really, 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 let me get to Vicky here. And then I got a really important question for you after that. Dan bought an older tractor when we bought the property and it was a money pit. Finally bought a new Mahindra about 3 years ago and wish we'd have done it to start. Yeah. So Johnny's got the magical question of the night, which is how many desserts is a girl tractor worth asking for tag?
Johnny, come on. Well, I tried.
Johnny.
My dessert
Johnny.
did not turn out. I tried to do a dessert this week. One dessert. And then it didn't turn out.
You're not answering his question.
I don't know.
A guess? What's a guess?
Like one.
So one of your desserts is
Yeah,
worth
but what about
$45,000.
what if it was like creme brulee?
$45,000 for creme brulee. I buy a lot of creme brulee for $45,000.
How about with a kiss?
Jen.
Five.
Yeah. Jen says it's worth $5. Are you kidding me?
$5.
$5.
I love
So ridiculous.
you.
So ridiculous.
Jen.
Oh,
you're your
Leela.
best friend.
Leela's got your back.
That's right. Is it back credit?
Back credit. Got it. Mo says, how many 55-gallon drums of honey can it lift? Wow. What does a 55-gallon drum of honey weigh, I wonder? I don't know.
Oh, we already did that math.
Did we?
It was. Oh, I had it.
Okay, now we're getting to something here. Johnny says
650.
650 pounds?
Yes.
Okay, so it would lift 3 of them.
That's what I need. A tractor and 3 barrels of honey.
Johnny says you owe me a dessert at least one a week for 3 years. And Let's Trade Paint, Rockstar, by the way, says 30 desserts. 30.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Jen.
Yeah.
Jen says 5 squash pies.
5 squash pies. Hey, I want your recipe for your squash pie.
Mm-hmm.
Because squash is coming.
Yeah. Tim says, 2 desserts per month for the first year, 1 per month for the second year, and 1 every other month for the third year. No, I think I should at least get desserts consistently until the warranty runs out, which is 6 years.
Consistency?
On a consistent basis.
Like 1 a year for 6 years?
Oh, 1 more rock. Look at that. You'll be extending B's back for 30 more years.
Yes.
Talk about moral obligation.
Yes.
Shame on you.
She's right.
Yeah, that is a nice tractor, though. It is. All right, so you want to get into some weird stuff that's going on in the world today?
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll get B's mind off the tractor?
Well, yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. So you guys know that there was a 2-hour interview that went on with Tucker Carlson. And I'm not going to go into it too much in depth, but he basically interviewed Vladimir Putin. And they were just talking about, why he invaded Ukraine. And he blamed it on, that America or the NATO had started it, back in 2014. But there's a couple interesting things I took from it. One, when asked whether or not he would be willing to negotiate, he said, if you want me to negotiate, stop selling them weapons, go home, and it'll be over in a couple weeks, which is a pretty interesting answer. And then later on in the interview, he said that he would be willing to negotiate. But I think this part is super, super fascinating because I think there's more to this story than just this. Why are they meeting? Why did Tucker Carlson go over there? And so I think tonight I'd like, if you guys don't mind, to help, kind of go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I think there's more to this story than just simply Tucker Carlson interviewed Vladimir Putin.
I didn't see any of it.
Yeah.
This was just last night?
This was just the last handful of days. So, Tucker Carlson, the whole story about how he was on Fox News. They kicked him off Fox News. He created his own network, and now he's getting all these big high-profile interviews, right? He's done Trump. He's done now Putin and, all of these kind of things. But again, I think if you guys follow me along, I think Oh, what'd Ghetto say? Ghetto said, and while we're distracted from the interview, Biden's counsel let him go with no charges. Oh, so Ghetto, you are so on top of it. So on top of it. Next slide, please. So while this was going on, at the same time this interview was going on, they wheeled Biden at wheeled. I didn't actually mean to say that, although that was appropriate. They got Biden out on stage to talk about this, the special counsel. So the special counsel released a report saying basically that Joe Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified material after leaving the vice presidency in 2017. And remember that number, 2017. It's really, really important. But concluded that no criminal charges were warranted. But what's so interesting about this is if you actually dig into the documents themselves, they also talked how Biden couldn't remember the day his boy died. He couldn't remember all of these particular dates and really questioned his mental health. And so I think this is also a super, super, super important point. And I don't know if you guys followed it, but so what happened as soon as this happened? So Tucker goes on the interview with Putin, and then they wheel Biden out in a hurry to talk about all of this. He goes on the complete defensive about the report, kind of yells at the reporters a little bit about him forgetting the dates, stumbles around a little bit. You know, just this week he called the Mexican president by the wrong name by a French guy, referred to 2 people that he met with in the last couple months that were already dead. Like he, you know, we all know that he's losing his mental capacity. But what's so fascinating about this is they wheeled him out into this. They put him in it. And I think this is super fascinating because I've been telling you guys for a long, long time they're going to turn on Biden soon. Right? And so, but let's keep going because I think there's so much more to this, you know, than just that. So, see, and this is an example. So CNN Politics, this is an article I just pulled off. So it was February 9th, 2024. So this is CNN saying Biden makes 3 false claims about his handling of classified information. And the only reason I put this article up here is because they're turning on him.
Yeah.
2 Democratic senators have called for an Article 25, I think it's 25, where you can get rid of a sitting president because of incompetence or not being able to be smart enough. And so they're starting to make this turn on him. And so I think this is super, super fascinating, but there's still way, way, way more to this. So what else happens? So he goes and Carlson goes and interviews Putin, correct?
Yes.
And as soon as that happens, Hillary Clinton, and this is proven, called MSNBC and said, I want to do an exclusive interview.
She did?
She did. Okay, so why does this matter? As you see, as it says right there, Clinton says Tucker Carlson is a useful idiot for Putin. So why would Hillary Clinton call MSNBC and say, get me on, I want to do an exclusive interview?
She wants her side of the story told.
What is this?
She needs the twist out.
So what's her side of the story? What does she have to do with Carlson and Putin and Biden?
Well, Biden, she's probably trying to support, right?
Well, I think there's more to this than that. Because if you guys remember,
kind of like clear the waters. Like if Biden went out and muddied it all, she's probably like, no, this is really what happened. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
So 2 things. If Biden's going to get replaced, who would they replace him with?
Well, Kamala, right?
Well, no, because Kamala has a lower approval rating than even Biden.
Are you talking about right now?
Right,
she's the vice president.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is not changing who's in office, but changing who's going to run in 2024 against Trump.
Oh.
Who are they going to lean to if they all turn on him?
Are you going to say Clinton is coming in?
I'm saying
so that Clinton and Trump are running against each other again?
And I'm going to say that she's trying to get in front of something coming out. Because why would she, after talking to Putin, what does Putin have that she's scared of?
Oh, well.
Well, let me share with you what I think they have. So if you guys remember back in 2016, there was a big hack by the Russians, apparently, on the DNC, right? The Democratic National Committee. And this is just a timeline of what happened into this.
And this was right before the last presidency, right?
Yeah, this is back in 2016.
Election.
Yep. And so if you read into this, officials say that Russian hackers may have breached the email accounts of more than 100 officials and groups inside the Democratic Party. So then if you go to the last time that Putin was interviewed, they were talking about how that information, these leaked stuff from the Democratic National Party, was given to Julian Assange. You remember this?
It's slightly.
Yep.
Because he went to prison, right?
What did he say? Yes, because he's in. Yeah, he did. But
He's out now.
Yeah, but what I think is fascinating is if you look back. So former Fox News host Tucker Carlson sees Julian Assange in prison. So he goes and does an interview just this last November with Julian Assange at prison to do a story. But yet he's never released the story.
Oh. Are you sure he's never released the
I'm
story?
100% sure he's never
Then why
released
is it in the news that here he went and
So
sees it?
he went down to do the interview in order to create a story, but has yet to release it. Now, fast forward, Biden's falling apart and Tucker runs to Putin, does an interview with Putin, which then on the heels, the Democratic Party turns on President Biden and then Hillary Clinton
out.
Gets on the front page trying to get in front of something. So this is what I think is what happened. I think Putin and Julian Assange have proof that Hillary interfered with the 2016 election or whatever, right? Or
emails.
Or the 30,000 deleted emails, right? Whatever it is. There's some proof there. And going back, I think Hillary was jumping and trying to get in front of the story, right? Because what she pretty much did in this interview, I watched it, what she pretty much did is just bash Tucker Carlson for being an idiot and him getting fired and all of these kind of things. So I would say that she's trying to get in front of something.
She's trying to show how dumb he is.
Mm-hmm. Because they're about to get blasted. Right? Because you got to think about the whole picture. So you've got Russia who's in combat in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Russians are dying at the hands of American weapons all the time. Right? So you've got all of this going on, and there's some evidence that's sitting there that hasn't been released. Biden isn't holding it together. The Democrats are going to have to lean on somebody. If they lean on Hillary, they announce it, and Putin drops his information. Anyway, I bet you there was some great comments in this whole time, and it just been going by.
Now you sit and think, I wonder what the information.
Yeah, I'm betting it has to do with the election or something like that, because there was a lot of claims back. Remember the dates?
Yeah.
Back in 2016 about Hillary doing unfair things to Bernie Sanders to get the nomination that year, right? There was a bunch of that stuff that was going on. And then there is a lot of the stuff that's going on with Trump and a lot of the stuff that's gone forward. And I don't know. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but it sure seems to me that this is all interconnected and none of it's by mistake. Carlson did an interview with Assange in prison in November and has yet to release the video. Fact. Then he runs up and goes and has a video with Putin. As soon as he does that, the Democrats roll Biden out on stage and made a total ass of himself. And in fact, the Democratic Party have said it might be the worst day of his presidency. He had such a hard time with it. Right on the heels, Hillary Clinton calls MSNBCs and says, "Get me an exclusive." Those are the facts. Let me see here. We see Let's Trade Paint says, "See ya later. Have a great night, y'all." Yep, we'll see you tonight. Good night. Sorry, guys. I probably missed a lot of comments, but I have no idea where I even left off, so who knows. When Carlson asked Putin if he negotiated with Biden, I was surprised Putin didn't laugh in his face. Yeah. The problem is, if they have something and it's the truth, we as Americans can't handle the truth. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight, too.
Handle the truth.
Yep. Hillary, wasn't Hillary at the State Department in 2014 when Putin said Ukraine conflict began? Also true. Great catch, Farm Ranch Homestead. I didn't think about that. 100% true. And we've talked a lot about how Ukraine very well could be nothing more than a money laundering operation anyway. Right? Life of Mike and Jen said, "Heck yeah, grab the popcorn, folks." That would be awesome. How cool would that be if they hacked all of her shit and exposed her and her cronies? I love this part too. And I think this is a really great thing. And we talk about it all the time, but there are reasons to have hope because you have people out there trying to fight for
who are doing it. Yes.
You know? Yep. LJC says, "You are so dead on, Tag. You might just be a conspiracy theorist." Yeah. Well, you know what the difference is between conspiracy theory and the mainstream news? 6 months.
I thought you were going to say tinfoil.
Yeah. Hypocrisy says government is money laundering. Of course they are. And I think what's going to happen here is we're going to see, this is the thing that the deep state don't count on, that they don't figure on, is this stuff right here. It's going to backfire, and Americans are going to get pissed.
Yeah.
If they're not already, right?
They're getting
I mean,
there.
you cannot watch that interview that Biden did at the same time the Tucker Carlson interview came out. You can't look at that and say that guy's right.
Yeah. Well, there's been, I don't know for how long he's been talking, and you go, what did he just say?
But they can't get rid of him now, because if they do, what they're left with is Kamal. So they need him to make it closer to the election time. Then the Democrats will totally turn on him. They'll get rid of him because he's not right in the brain. And what you're going to see between now and then is they're going to start highlighting how he's not right in the brain. The Democrats are going to now.
They're going to
So they're going to turn on him, right? And so it'll come time, they'll come up with a new nominee, right?
Yeah.
Potentially Hillary or whoever. And but Hillary needs to get in front of something, or why would she have done that? Why would she have called MSNBC on the heels of that and said, get me on, I got to talk about it right now?
Yeah.
There's something else there. So
the emails,
there's something there.
Her
right.
involvement of something.
There's something there. Putin exposed CIA history as evil also. I think there's something else about the ambassador being killed with the 3 military persons during Clinton time. Oh, the Benghazi thing.
Benghazi.
Right? I mean, it was all in that same time, right? And so when the Russians, or the reported Russians, hacked the Democratic Party, what did they get?
There's a lot of
potential.
Lot of holes.
Yep, potential. Yeah, let me see. Hillary was in the State Department from December 1st, 2008 to January 20th, 2009. You see here, Hillary was Secretary of State in Obama's first term, 08 to 12. John Kerry was the second. Unfortunately, we're only pissed at each other and not them as a whole. Their divide has gripped us all. Yeah, but I think maybe that might be breaking, or at least I hope it was, right? What was it? Something like 54 biolabs in Ukraine funded by the U.S.? Yeah, amongst a million other places. Right? The HRCs and the Dem Party's emails were spirited off to the Ukraine via Strikeforce software, which the FBI refused to subpoena, then said they were a reputable company. Keep it all hidden. Yeah, except the problem is apparently Putin got a hold of it and gave it to Assange, or something happened there, right? Yeah, Hippocrates Garden is hoping for a Hillary Michelle 2024 ticket. Yeah, and the Obama administration installed Zelensky, which is the guy who's running the Ukraine right now, right? And Hillary, through as Secretary of State from 09 to 13, she helped coordinate it. So that's what I'm saying, guys. There's some, I think we might see a just bombshell dropped.
Just unbelievable news.
Yeah, something that says Hillary Clinton broke the law again in the election, or Hillary Clinton, like something that would cause charges to be made in the deep state to get hammered. Something they couldn't hide behind anymore. Right? Because it sure seems to me there's a lot of shenanigans going on. I mean, on both sides.
Hasn't there always been a lot of shenanigans?
Well, there has been.
There's always been burying of some kind of information.
It sure seems to me that Tucker's got something. Why would all that? Why would he go to Julian Assange to do a story on him and then not produce it?
Maybe
and then rush off
to
Putin. And then rush off to Putin.
Trying to be a journalist.
I don't know.
Trying to get a story.
I don't know. I like the polls they ran on who's hurting the U.S. more, Putin or Biden. Yeah. Yep. Oh, this actually brings up a good point too here. So the FBI still refuses to release Seth Richards' computer information. The Hunter Biden lap talks about the information's about to come out. What about the lists of the people on the island?
How long has it been? How long has it been since the Hunter Biden laptop has?
3 years.
Okay, how long has it been since the list of
2 years?
Islanders?
2 years.
And we're all still just sitting here waiting for this info.
Oh, that's a good point too. What do you think was in the folder that Putin gave Tucker? I have no idea.
You saw it?
So he gave him a folder. I don't know what's in it. But how interesting is that? And then I want to know when Tucker left, did they take the folder from him? Because you guarantee you, if he handed him something, the Secret Service is going to be all over that.
Probably in the same stuff that was in the ball that he gave to Trump.
Yeah.
Didn't he give him a ball?
Yeah, there was something like that.
Launch codes.
Yeah, who knows? I think America's time is blaming Russia for everything is over. And I think TC came home with evidence. We'll see, right?
Carlson.
Yeah, we will see. Ellen said he wouldn't censor the information Tucker had to share. I hope he stays true to that.
Elon.
Yeah, more of the list came out today. Yeah, I did not see it yet. Eagle Lover, I wish I would, or I'd have put it on the live tonight. Yeah, oops, sorry. John Kerry was Secretary of State in 2014. I believe Putin is just as much controlled opposition as Tucker and Trump. Yeah, I don't think Putin's a good guy by any means. Don't misunderstand anything I'm saying, but I think there's some dirt, and it sure seems to me like it don't take much to put those pieces together and say, wait, what? You know, whatever the leftists try to claim conservatives are doing is proven later to be just what the leftists are doing. And that like
I've seen, yeah.
Narcissism at its best, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see what else I got on my slides tonight. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well,
I actually had that on there. Was
Did
the
you?
next one. So yeah.
Yeah, what else you got? And then I'll get to my next story.
That I'm still working on taxes. I'm just tidying them up.
How long have you been working on
different
taxes?
entities? Well, in and out. I mean, taking care of family members and rocking chairs and just.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ironing.
Hey, Troy, I didn't know that. That Tucker went to Hungary after his interview instead of coming back home. Very interesting.
So anyway, trying to keep as much of my money as possible, you know, but just can't wait for them to be able to do it for me.
Who? Oh,
the government.
Oh yeah, pretty quick. They'll just do it for you. I know how wonderful will that be.
They'll know exactly how much I've spent on everything that I've spent. They'll know which ones are deductions and which ones are not, and then I can trust them to give me back the money that they don't need.
Yes. The government has a history of giving back money they don't need.
Yeah.
Right? Good for you.
So that'll be nice.
Good for you.
Then it will just not be an issue. I won't have to worry about filing. They'll just file for me. So one less thing I have to do.
And the mummified meat puppet just installed John Podesta as the climate czar. Yeah.
Podesta is Clinton's fixer.
Yeah, Starla wants to know if you're growing any seeds yet.
No.
Soon.
Yes, soon.
End of the month?
February. Yes. So we start like onion seeds this month. It's supposed to be.
Yep.
Actually, there's quite a few seeds that I could be getting on. I could be doing, and I haven't. I just keep feeling like as soon as I get these taxes done, then I can just kind of focus on something else, which would be kind of growing season, because that's what's next for me. Growing or mudding. I think mudding on rainy days and growing on nice days. But
Ghetto says we're thinking of one world government with the kind of technology that can make 1984 a walk in the park. There's no way none of them are working together at this point. Well, what I find fascinating about what you said right here, Ghetto, is it isn't the Republicans who are doing this. It's the outcast. It's the Tucker Carlsons and the Donald Trumps, right? They are the ones who are throwing the flags and doing those kind of things. It's not the rhinos. It's not the, those guys. They just rather it stay the same. So I agree with what Ghetto's saying. Yeah. Yeah, Johnny's correct. It's all about keeping the war machine going. Yep. You good there? Let me continue?
Yeah.
All right. So you guys, I'm sure you guys watched this video, or if you didn't, you really should go watch this video. So this is an Ohio sheriff, and he came back from a meeting he had at a training facility with FBI, the FBI director. I copied some of this from the transcript because I thought it was just important to read it exactly as he said it. But let me just kind of give you the big overall scope. So he came back and decided he'd do a press conference to warn the people that the FBI had instructed him to prepare. And to prepare because there are so many enemies around us. There are safe houses. And I think the word they used was Chinese safe houses in every state. And that they're expecting an attack on a national level. So not just one place, but they're expecting attack on a national level, and that he needed to prepare his county. And then this sheriff, and love him, decides he's going to get on a press conference and tell the world, what happened at this meeting. But some of the words that I took out of this transcript were, we were told by Mr. Ray, that the FBI director, that there are more red flags going off now than before 9/11. Okay, when I say red flags, meaning people that are here in this country that are wanting to harm us. We were told by the FBI director that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so it was interesting to hear some of the things he was doing. So they're actually training civilians. They're very concerned about drones. They're very concerned about cyber, and they're very concerned about dirty bombs and things like this. You know, they mentioned several times in the conversation about people coming across with backpacks and what they could do. And I think it's interesting that they're worried about many attacks on a large scale. Not, hey, we're going to go bomb. Like, you couldn't get me to go to the Super Bowl right now, right? Taylor Swift or no Taylor Swift. No way, right? But they're talking about, lots of attacks happening at one time. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, our enemies know if they could create enough chaos inside of America, we will not have the wherewithal to fight them. You can't it'd be very, very hard to take on the American military, tank to tank. It just would be. And so what a great way to do it. And it got me thinking a lot about the things that are going on out there. And so back to the Tucker Carlson thing, just real quick. What would you do if you knew you were about to lose total control and total power? To what lengths would you go to keep total control and total power? What kind of event would it take to get the Americans their eyes off of these things? Could it be large scale attacks? And I won't get into that much. What?
God.
Yes, and Johnny says, and don't forget Biden
saying.
Refused to meet with the nation sheriffs. And yeah, he actually talked about that as well in there. Hippocrates says, like he said, even at 9/11, it wasn't the feds that responded, it was the local fire and police. So the response has to be ready at the local level without help. I think the when is this year. I think it will start in the South first. I don't know where it's going to start, but I think this is a big deal, guys. And for him to break this news, whether they wanted him to break the news, right, or not, I think it's a big news. And there's many things that we should all be doing. But I want to travel down this rabbit hole just a little bit further.
I thought this video has been taken down, right? I heard it was taken down.
It was taken off some places, but I've been able to find it every time I've looked for it. So
in its entirety.
Yeah. So I included the link at the bottom right there if you guys wanted to look at it. Nito said, I believe late summer, early fall prior to the election to cause chaos is when something severe is going to happen. We guys got to put the whole picture together, right? Biden's falling apart. The Democrats are turning on him. Hillary Clinton's now out speaking. You got Trump being threatened with prison. Yeah. You got the economic situation in our country's not good. We've been invaded, right, from the southern border, and there are cells, as the sheriff said, and all that stuff all over the place. We're fighting wars on several fronts across seas.
Yep.
There are wars or potential conflicts that are going on every continent in the world except Antarctica and Australia, right? So it's a big, gigantic mess. Let's see here. I don't even know. Guys, if I missed you guys, I apologize because a whole bunch went by. Grid down to make it even more interesting. Well, grid down would cause super chaos, right, Carrie? I mean, it would cause super, super, super big problems.
Well, and I thought, too, when he had said the police are not your first line of defense. We are your last line of defense for you.
Oh, look at this. One more rock says, just in Arkansas yesterday, a stolen moving van was pulled over after a high-speed chase. Van was full of stolen guns and Molotov cocktails. Yeah. So I don't know if this is just scare tactics or not, One More Rock, or if it's real, or if they're just planning it. I don't have any idea. But what I do know is no matter which answer it isn't good. Right? Neither one of those answers is great. Starlet Oak says martial law. I shared this video with my siblings. Only 2 responded of 12. One blamed Biden. The other gave me a lecture on how I'm too fearful and need to eat healthy and exercise and read book Atomic Habits. If I was planning something against the U.S., I'd start with the Coasties. They are the least prepared. They'll be waiting for help rather than help of their own. That's smart. Something's happening here. What is it? Ain't exactly clear. Yeah, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight. Is this right here? Oh my gosh, guys, I'm behind. I'm sorry. I try, guys, so hard to read all your comments, but it's just sometimes they just go by too fast. Tag, what do you think about the 200 radio foot tower? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Actually, that's like 3 or 4 slides ahead. Yeah, I'll show you. Carrie Davis, Taylor Swift for president. Yeah, the only problem is she's a Chiefs fan, so I really have to question her judgment. Simpler times, it seems like they're trying to tank the country in case Trump wins, so he'll have a crap show to deal with. I think it's simpler times Homestead could be way, way, way bigger than that, right? I mean, it absolutely is about. I mean, why would they just open the border like that? I mean, I think you really have to question that, and I think Nancy Pelosi said it right and she said, and I quote, "It's impossible for Trump ever to be president again." Right? Defense News says our military is low on armaments. Yes, I've heard that as well. Yeah, let me see here. And now I have that song playing in my head. They're transforming America. One more rock. That I agree with. So I thought, out of curiosity, after reading this article and listening to this video, that I would just do a little Google search. How many people are actually worried about cyber attacks right now? And so all I Googled was cyber attacks in America, and I just clipped the first articles in it to show you. And so these were the first 3 that came up. Chinese hackers spent up to 5 years in U.S. networks, says cyber officials. Gordon Hang warns about the threat of crippling Chinese cyber attacks. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's likely a 20. And rising toll of cyber attacks in 2024 and beyond. So this was the first 3 that came up in the search engine today. And this was just, an hour before the live, right? When I come up here to try to get ready for it. The other thing I found was interesting is, so I thought, because they were concerned about nuclear targets, that I would take a look at what are people saying, what are the top targets. And some of these I didn't even realize. But so this was one source. So I found that interesting. But what I found more interesting is it lined up with this source too. So the 2 sources that came up, they pretty much had the same ones on there, right? So what I want to know is, does this remind anybody of Jericho? You've watched Jericho,
yes,
right?
I've watched Jericho, but I wasn't trying to.
Okay, so let's go back.
Yeah, go back to your.
Burp, burp, burp,
Okay.
burp.
Well,
Okay,
yes.
so we could go all the way back to the beginning.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Good gravy.
Biden, Clinton, Tucker Carlson, Julian Assange, information, right?
Putin.
Sheriff comes out, says there's enemies everywhere. They're in our state. The FBI has briefed them. There's going to be many attacks in many parts of the country, right? That they've carrying backpacks. They're worried about dirty bombs. They're worried about drones. They're worried about these things. It just made me think of Jericho.
And then the pins on the map, if you go back one, down in his bunker basement. What was that guy's name? The cop guy with the big badge.
Cop guy? In what? In Jericho?
Yes. The guy with the bomb guy.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember his name. But anyway, for those of you guys who are in the mood, go watch Jericho.
Yeah. Start with season 1.
Yeah. Gregory says Gordon Chang knows his stuff. And that was the guy that was talking about the cyber attacks from Aruba. People don't know that all the transformer power lines are made in China. Well, not many people know it. I do know this. And I can also tell you that the Chinese government has put kill switches in many things in our country.
Hawkins.
Yep. LJC says, I used Square to process credit cards and it was down all day Tuesday. Fortunately, all of my customers paid with a check. So I wasn't affected, but things are very fragile. They are very fragile. Yep. Sometimes says, I love Jericho, a little left leaning. Yeah, but is it left leaning because it was a warning? Right? Who knows? But I think it's an interesting how the scenario in Jericho, for those of you guys who've never watched the series Jericho, so basically a whole bunch of nuclear bombs go off all over America
At the same time.
At the exact same time, causing all kinds of chaos. And it's the story of communities and how the communities live and fight together or against each other on the heels of those nuclear explosions.
Yeah.
You know, Great comment. Cyber attacks on the power grid, water system, sewer systems. Guys, and here's the thing. We cannot pump gas without electricity. We can't. And the threat of an EMP is real, but the threat of a cyber attack is equally as real, probably maybe even more. If let's just suppose for a minute that there was a kill switch in a transformer, which there is, right? It's literally just as simple as them turning the voltage up in that transformer and it's done. That's it.
Then that's that. Like you can't, there's no resetting that.
No. And the thing about the transformers is there's years wait to get
you're
them.
waiting for that to happen.
You don't have them on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
This may be the year God takes out Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Hawkins was the cop. There you go.
Cop with the bomb.
Yeah. Anybody heard of the water systems already being tainted? Yeah, they were talking about the next virus coming through the water systems.
In the water systems. Yeah, they can't clean it out of them. Can't clean it out of the water system.
Yeah, Mo says the series MR robot comes to mind.
Do you know what that is? Have
I've
you
never
seen that?
it.
I will write it down.
Cyber attack more likely than EMP. Why destroy what you want to take? No. Jericho has a lot of good points to make, you think. Community, bad guys, government, trading posts. Yeah.
Didn't we watch MR Robot? Did Mo, do you own that? Did we rent that from you?
Anyone heard of the new documentary Letters to the American Church? I have not. The balloon showed them a lot of info, guaranteed. And that's another thing. Think about that, right? The balloon flying across the United States, identifying targets.
Yeah, they said that this was not. They weren't doing it to help us track our weather.
Yep. The World Economic Forum would love to see American Dream fail. Know your enemy. Yep. Siemens equipment is hacked, and it is in all power grids. Yes, it is. Yep. Mr. Robot.
Mr. MR.
Yep. Just the fact that most aren't prepared means that desperate people will be moving through the areas. Yep. And so when you're looking at where to live and you're looking at those kind of things, the natural line of drift of refugees, I would think, would be high on people's list. I don't remember what that one was. Okay. New topic. So they were talking about earlier, apparently a 200-foot radio station tower was stolen without a trace in Alabama. Right. So this is from the Associated Press. So in Jasper, Alabama, the theft of a giant radio tower has silenced what used to be the voice of small Alabama town and the surrounding county, the radio station's general manager said. A thief or thieves made off with a 200-foot tower, 61 meters tall, shutting down WJLX radio in Jasper, Alabama. So far, no arrests have been made. The theft was discovered on February 2nd when a maintenance crew arrived in the wooded area where the tower once stood and found it gone. They also found that every piece of broadcasting equipment stored in the nearby building had also been stolen. To break into my building, steal all my equipment and the tower, Elmore said. Hell, leave me the tower. That's the most expensive thing to replace. Elmore said he suspects that the tower guy wire were cut first, which would have brought the structure to the ground. Then he believes it was cut into smaller pieces and hauled away. Some pretty simple tools you could get from Home Depot could cut this up in no time, he said. But there's all kinds of stuff that's interesting in this. So wait a second. Let me make sure I got this right. So the theft of a giant radio tower was silenced what used to be the voice. So this is a tower that is the voice of a small Alabama town, right? And it shut down the WJLX radio station in Jasper, Alabama. Except then you go down the paragraph before, the theft was discovered on February 2nd when a maintenance crew arrived. So does that mean that they didn't use the tower? Does that mean that it was shut down and it just took them a couple days to get out there? I mean, how do you steal a 200-foot tall tower?
Apparently you can cut it up in no time.
Apparently.
And if you cut it up, then how are you going to reuse it? Right?
Yep.
Because you're not going to weld that back together. And why wouldn't you just unbolt it? Isn't it? Surely it's not 200 feet all welded together.
It makes no sense. Like the whole story doesn't jive with me. Because if you had a tower that was the voice
that was relied upon.
That's what they say. The theft of a giant radio tower was silenced. What used to be the voice of a small Alabama town. So they only broadcast once a month, once a week.
Well, maybe
it just doesn't jive to me.
Maybe by the time the crews got out there, it was, a couple days.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, you'd think that a radio station would be out there before
Mhm.
a couple of days. Few hours of them being off air.
Yeah, but babe, I'm going to tell you. I mean,
And then all in the nearby building.
do you know how long it
all
would
of the
take
equipment
you
was
to
stolen.
take a 200-foot tower down and cut it up?
Maybe it was
Hours, at least.
Maybe it was a bunch of guys.
It would, man, I just don't see it.
Maybe they worked efficiently.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Gregory says the question is, who needs a tower and the equipment? And what's going on around that town in, Jasper, Alabama, that they don't want communication? Who knows?
Yeah.
I
mean,
tweakers have probably been looking for that tower for years before they got it. Yeah, but man, ghetto.
Look how long it takes them to
200-foot tower.
Catalytic converter off of a pickup truck out front. Just
how
seconds.
do you get a 200-foot tower down without equipment? Just
You
cut it
just
off and let it fall over?
That's what he said. It was
I don't know.
Fell to the ground. It was in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, I don't know. 200 feet would be 20 10-foot sections. If I fell, it would be all warped anyway and not usable. To take it down correctly with the gin poles would take a day or two. This is what I'm saying. Unless you had no use for the metal and you were okay that it got crushed.
Then why would you just?
Why would you cut it up and take it with you?
Why would you take it with you? You just ruin it and leave
it. Just doesn't make sense to me. Just absolutely does not make sense.
Scrap metal? Was it copper?
Maybe. That's what Half Bubble Off Plum says, scrappers. But that's a whole lot of work for not that much metal. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't make sense. Migrants cutting towers down, just doing the job that Americans won't do. Mo's got it. It was the aliens.
And it happened in because they just beamed it up.
Oh my goodness. Mario says, I cut it down ever since I switched to T-Mobile. I just haven't been able to get a good signal. Yeah. Yeah. Parker said, I've erected a 60-foot tower by myself. Yeah, 60 foot's one thing. I mean, that's hard.
200.
200-foot tower? It just makes no sense to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Then maybe it's something different.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I just absolutely don't. I think that happened somewhere here in Oklahoma and took the copper wire. Okay, so this makes sense. So someone climbing up to the top of the tower, cutting the wire, wrapping up the copper and running away makes sense. You could do that fairly quick. But to drop a 200-foot tower, completely disassemble it, take all the equipment and be gone?
And out of a nearby building too.
Man.
Like they didn't just take the tower down; they took the equipment from a nearby building.
Man,
so they were fast.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Do you have a recipe for homemade egg noodles?
No,
that's not really you.
I haven't made homemade noodles.
New MSM term: undocumented Americans instead of illegals. New speak. Yep. Everybody needs to go read the book 1984. Right? This is just them just changing the language. The government gave them the tools needed when the illegals crossed the border. Hippocrates says 200 foot. The only wire would be a coax, which would be hard line, not something you just roll up. Well, I understand, but it would not be as difficult as a 200-foot tower. Like, I don't know that people understand how big that is. That's a big freaking tower. Yeah, an organized heist. Yep.
It would have to have been organized. Like,
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. We got to talk about some positive things since we're an hour and 43 minutes.
Do we have anything
We do.
positive?
Check this article out. If you volunteer to go fight for the Ukrainians, they will allow you to freeze your sperm so you might be able to have kids after your death.
Are you kidding me?
No. Ukrainian Prime Minister on February sent back measure to allow soldiers' frozen sperm to be used if they are killed on the front after an early law ordering its disposal triggered uproar. As deaths mount among Ukrainian young men fighting in the 2-year war against Russia and with further military call-ups being mulled, the nation's fertility policies have been in the spotlight. Do you find that interesting?
No.
No? You know what I find interesting?
Good for them.
What I find interesting is that Ukrainians becoming a baby factory. And that Americans now are paying money, and you can actually order twins. You can order whatever you want.
Shut
and
the
so
front
Ukraine,
door.
no, I don't make this shit up, babe. Kiev, Ukraine. When Tanya, a 45-year-old woman living in Los Angeles, paid $10,000 and sent 2 embryos to a surrogacy firm in the Ukraine, hoping to build a family 6 years ago, she said she never expected the uncertainty and heartbreak the process would bring. So there's all kinds of news about Americans ordering babies out of the Ukraine. Just saying.
Huh.
I don't know. That's interesting to me. Yeah, Homestead Aquarius. Good evening to you. Yeah, the new tractor's positive, Tim says. Heck yeah. I'm positive the world has gone to hell. Yep, I would agree. I know someone who got twins from a woman in Georgia, the country. This was 5 years ago. Mo says if you are not using Ukrainian sperm, you are a racist.
Oh my gosh.
That's some funny stuff right there.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
But yes, the tractors are good. I'm still talking him into that.
you think you're still talking me into it.
I'm still talking him into that. It's not a done dealio.
How long will it take you to get it done?
I don't know. It's not done yet.
Yeah.
But it sure is party.
Hawkross 54 said, I watched a video on the baby factory 2 nights ago. Yeah, Ukraine is a region, not a race. Did I say it was a race?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, there's a bunch of videos about it being a baby factory. I just found it interesting that they said, okay, now they'll freeze soldiers' sperm.
Good grief.
And it'd be a baby factory at the same time. I don't know. Is that weird to you, or is that just me reaching?
So I wonder so they have to be married in order to get their sperm frozen?
I don't know.
Or can they just offer up that to, then whoever wants it?
I don't know. LJC says, I still can't believe Tag needs to be talking to a machine. No, the machine's great. Paying for it's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe paint it red. No.
I think it's party like that.
Yeah. B's looking for a machine. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. But we'll figure it out, and she'll Johnny says hard pass on freezing my baby batter.
Oh my gosh. Johnny.
Yeah, don't freeze your baby batter.
Good grief.
Yeah, how about those mail order Ukrainian wives? Yeah.
I'm all stocked up.
Yeah. Milwaukee red. Slow what LJC is saying. Anyway. All right, baby.
It uses the 12 amp batteries.
18 volt. Not amp. You were so close. What you got else on your list? I am through my whole list tonight.
Well, I had the sheriff thing on there because we had watched
Yeah.
that. Got the chicken coop cleaned out, getting ready for some baby chicks.
Oh, talk about your all your swells and all the gardens. Those are all cleaned, right?
Cleaned out, getting ready for some seeds. I found the garlic needs to be redone, like kind of spread out. The orchard is coming along. There's some stuff with some buds on it.
Mm-hmm.
Some trees that are looking pretty good. Looking positive. I don't know what I was going to say.
None of us do.
And
And if you don't know, how would we ever know?
yeah,
Right?
don't try. What else?
What do you got? Any parting words? It's about 2 hours. You got anything else? What do you want to talk about?
My parting words, because everybody is just different. Everybody, spending time with people who we don't all line up on all of our values and ideas and
Yep.
And our journeys are all so different. My phrase was, sometimes people just need to be led.
What does that mean, though? Because you can walk in and say, follow me, and they'll laugh at you.
Follow me.
No,
because the journey looks different for everybody. And if we can say, this is how we did it, and they can say, this is how we did it, they can look, people coming in or not coming in, but people that need help finding their path. Sometimes they just need to see what other people have done in order to pick and choose what they want to do with their journey, because not everybody knows what the options are. Nobody knows, not everybody knows what they are capable of, or the idea, I guess, unless somebody shows them or talks to them about it, or they see it somewhere. So the idea has to come from somewhere. And sometimes people need help getting that idea, getting that path.
I think he said it really well.
What?
Read what Hippocrates said.
Two people can be on a journey to the same place, but because of their starting point, can be going in opposite directions from that starting point. Yeah, something. Is that do you see what I'm trying to say?
I do. I think
to walk through, showing the way, try to.
We were talking to a girl with dog while she was here a little bit, and she had some statements about wanting to take care of the people that she loved, and that it's not always easy, but at the end of the day, I think what B is saying is, we built our house, and I get a lot of heat about this. Why do you live in such a big house? When the truth is, we live in one side of my house, but I built it the way I built it because I know my kids are coming home someday. And even though they're not, at the time, they weren't like-minded as much, I just stayed true. I went through my tribulation training, right, to get ready and to get prepared, so that I knew my kids were going to be safe, whether they agreed with me or they didn't agree with me, whether they called me crazy or they didn't. I've told you guys the story of my uncle many times, where he told me I was crazy for years and years, and then one day came to me and said, "You might be the smartest person I know." And I'm going to tell you guys, I've said it a million times, I'm so glad I didn't call him stupid.
Yeah.
Because had I called him stupid somewhere along in that journey, he would have ran the other way, and he would have never come to me. And now we have a whole lot better relationship, and we have new things that we get to talk about. And so sometimes we just have to have conviction in our own beliefs, and we have to have conviction that we're heading down the right path, even though others don't see it. And it's okay if they don't.
Yeah.
Help them celebrate whatever part of their journey they're on and wherever they're at. And, it's so funny. I think about it, sometimes. And, when people come to me and they say, "Hey, my spouse isn't on board," or "My family's not on board," and I always talk to them about things like, just get them to grow one tomato plant. Because what happens is then that grows to something else, which grows to something else, which grows to something else. And anybody you can get out of a garden full time will someday want a homestead. I mean, it's just right. It's kind of that natural progression. But don't give up on people, and don't listen to the people on YouTube that go out there and talk about, "I'm just done with my family," and all of those kind of things. Just understand they're at a different place.
Yeah.
It's our job to help lead them by our example and by our courage and by our conviction. And if we do those things, it's going to work out okay, I think, in the end.
That's what I was going to say. When sometimes it's not get them to grow a tomato. Sometimes it's let me grow the tomato and share it with them for them to see that benefit. I have a lady who I've been trying to get to grow her own birds for some time. And she's like, "I'd love some eggs if you have any extra. I'd love some eggs if you have any extra." And I'm, here's some eggs, here's some eggs, here's some. Why don't you do chickens? Like, if you like eggs, why don't you do chickens?
Well, this is the same girl that called you the other day that said her husband gave her $300 so that she could go buy stuff, and she was choosing to buy rice and beans, right?
Yeah.
Making ground, right?
She is made, yes, because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, yep. She was headed to get provisions that she hadn't had before, because why would she need that when there's a grocery store just around the corner? And so she is not with chickens yet, but yes, she is getting her house in order.
Her journey has continued.
Or maybe it's just starting. I don't know.
Well, she's at her place, but we're going to help her along the way.
Yes.
But it is our responsibility, guys, for those of us who are awake, to understand that everybody's going to be awake. I promise you guys they're going to be awake. Eventually? They have to be. Now, some it'll be too late. But as Grumpy says, there's going to come a day when the soccer moms and the NASCAR dads hurt enough that real change comes.
Yeah.
we're all at a different place. And guys, there was a time in my life where, you know, I would have told you that America did everything right and that all we should do is focus on helping the poor and those evil rich people. And then, you know, there was come a time where I looked down and said, you know, those poor people are lazy. You know, and you go through this journey that no point and then would I have considered myself a bad guy. It's just that's where I was in my journey.
Yeah.
And I had to have enough examples to wake up. And I'm imagining what happens if you look forward 10 more years. I'll look back at this tag and say, I wish I'd have known that.
Yeah.
You know, so we're all growing and we're all that. So let's try not to create divide. Let's stop calling names. Let's stop, pointing out all of the things that make us different. And instead, let's focus on being the solution to the problem.
The solution.
You know, and instead of being the problem and buying into all of the stuff that the government and the powers that be want us to, because as long as we're separated, we're fighting each other. We're not fighting them. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we can't allow that.
Yeah. Be the difference. Be a leader. Stand on your conviction. It'll work out okay. Good night, everybody.
Hold the line.